Hello and welcome to this mini course on how you can make the most impact as a leader. This is a little snippet of a program we do on how you can get promoted Cheetah fast. It is part of the Cheetah Leadership Program. My name is Michelle LaBrasse. I am the Chief Cheetah and founder of Cheetah Learning. We've been around since the year 2000. We've had 80,000 people go through Cheetah Learning and take our variety of our project management and leadership programs. And I put this mini course together to share with you my experiences of how you can make the most impact as a leader. And it is a topic we cover in our course on how do you get the right type of promotions. We call it the WIFM course. What's in it for me? How do you get the right promotions? And how do you do it Cheetah fast? So this is a little mini course that talks about how you can make the most impact as a leader, because what I have found in my 30 years or so of being a leader, I started out my leadership career in the Air Force, is that you can make a much bigger difference when you're in the right situations for you. All leadership is situational, and in some situations you'll be a far more effective leader than others. So we look at 5 basic categories in which you can thrive as a leader. And in the class on how to get promoted fast and how to pick the right promotion opportunities for you, you learn how to assess these criteria and determine what is going to be the best opportunity for you. Because that is what leadership is about as well, is leading yourself and making sure that you're finding the best places where you can make the biggest impact. So there's 5 basic criteria, and we'll go into what each one of these means in this mini course. The very first is cultural fit. Do you fit into the culture of this situation? And we look at cultural fit in 2 different dimensions. One of them is the infrastructure, because the infrastructure can determine the culture, and the other is your personal preference for the culture. So let's take a look at infrastructure. So there are generally bad situations for any leader. You want to try to avoid these like the plague. And there's good situations for leaders that can really help you shine. And what I say is that the bad situations can take a good leader and make you crazy. So try to stay away from these. So in the infrastructure category, you have the diversity of the executive staff. And they've found that monocultures of the executive staff, like if you have all the same gender and same race, and they went to the same school, they're going to be very ineffective at making appropriate decisions. And I really got into this watching the bank failures. And a lot of the bank failures were because of the monoculture of the executive staff. So try to avoid those places like the plague. They're not going to be helpful. Even if you were a member of their club, you're not going to be thriving. You're not going to make a big impact as a leader because they have massive groupthink, and you're not going to be able to implement any novel or innovative ideas there. So the places that have are good situations for leadership have a diverse gender, ethnic, academic, and professional background and age. So the more diverse the more diverse the executive staff is, the more likely is you're going to be able to have a good impact as a leader. The next one is initiative funding. And this is, are the initiatives just pet projects with inadequate funding? You want to stay away from those. Those are going to turn a good leader into a bad leader. And you want to see if initiatives are well funded from established sources and have a consistent alignment of support. So they're not just someone's pet project. And I think that we talk about it, the initiative support. Is it just one champion, or does it have a corporate-wide support? So look at what's going on with initiatives. Look at the diversity of the executive staff. And that can tell you about the infrastructure for a situation, if it's a good or a bad cultural fit. The other part of the cultural fit is your personal preference. So would it require a major adjustment to your preferred lifestyle choices? So let's say that you like remote work and you're a really good virtual leader, but this situation is going to require you to move your entire family across the country into a region that you're not familiar with their customs or culture. it might not be that great of a fit for you. Does it fit with your work and living preferences? And that might be a better fit for you as a leader. Now, that sounds like common sense. And sometimes you think, oh, this will be a growth opportunity. You know, I've been around the block, and growth opportunities is another word for it sucked. So, you know, try to stay away from those because it's not going to really do your career a whole lot of good. The other one is accomplishment visibility. Are you going to be recognized for what you're bringing to the table? If it has limited exposure and you're going to be kind of in the dungeon with a bunch of worker bees, you don't really want that. If the company is well respected and proven in the field, and you're going to be able to really shine there, it could really help your career tremendously. So pay attention to that. Is this company accomplished? Are they well respected? Is it going to help your career? The next one is the strength of networking. Because as a leader, you're going to want to move up, and the best way to move up is to move out. So you want to be able to network well. And do you have just one champion advocating for your success? If so, you're going to have limited networking exposure. You want to have multiple people advocating for your success. You want it to be a big network play. So that's the cultural fit that you have to look into. So if you think that's a lot, we have some pretty easy ways for you to sort through all of that when you're looking at different opportunities in the Get Promoted Cheetah Fast class. So let's look at the next one. And this is the next one. I'm an engineer, so I'm into innovation. And you want to look at the capacity of the organization for innovation, because that tells you how well the organization can adapt to change. And that's very important for a leader, because as a leader, you're going to come in and you're probably going to facilitate change. And if the organization doesn't have a capacity for innovation, you're probably going to be pretty frustrated and stymied. So you want to understand the forces that are constraining or enabling innovation in the opportunity. Are there strong forces there to maintain the status quo? I mean, have they had any changes in upper leadership over the years? If they have the same entrenched leadership and they haven't changed, it might not be a really great place to be. Or are they leveraging disruptive? Is leveraging disruption the norm for how they do business? And they have established processes to do so. That means they're really good at rolling innovation into the operation of the company. And you can really see that by what is their IT infrastructure like. So we're looking at a world of remote workers. And I thought it was interesting. One of the Cheetah students a couple months ago was complaining that as a remote worker, she didn't have the ability to take her scene on the road because she had to be hardwired into the remote connection. And she was like, wow, this company is really old school. And so that tells you right away that they don't have a very strong innovation capacity. So when you want to see if there's strong forces enabling change, take a look at how mature their IT is for enabling remote work. That'll give you a pretty good heads up. The next one is innovation for innovation capacity. How much do they invest in innovation and technology upgrades? If it doesn't look like they've upgraded their operating system in years, they're spending minimal money. What do they call that? The technology debt. I think it was Southwest Airlines had major technology debt because they hadn't upgraded their scheduling system, which caused this major scheduling crash in the holidays. And now, if they consistently spend at least 10% of their budget updating their technology, you can tell they have a strong capacity and capability for innovation. The next one is adopting and adapting to new technology and solutions. So the bad situations are they a day late and a dollar short? You know, do they not want to spend any money to upgrade people's computers? Are upgrading your computer, is that seen as, a perk that only the great performers get? Because that's not a great situation. Keeping people up to date on the current technology should be a minimum for where you're going to work. Early adopters can be a great place for a leader that is good at bringing about change. The next one is risk alignment. And this is really important you understand this, because if you get into a situation where the risk appetite, the risk tolerance, and the risk threshold are very different than yours, you're either going to be bored out of your gourd or scared to death because these people take too many risks. So make sure you know about the risk alignment. So bad situations for leadership, typically they prefer safe and stable choices. This may not be the best place for a leader that wants to make changes to be. In places that are good, where you're encouraged and supported to make big changes, those are usually better places for people who are strong leaders. The next one is risk tolerance. If they only go after things that are a sure bet, you can be sure that you're going to be pretty bored being there. If they use 10% of their budget for high risk development, that's going to be a much more fun place to be. And the next one is risk threshold. Are they risk averse? Have they not taken any risks in the past 20 years? You probably want to avoid that type of place. If they allow for discovery and incremental and iterative changes, which is, an agile type environment, the leadership opportunities are typically more rewarding there and you can make more of an impact. The next one is diversity support. How supportive is this environment for diversity? Because the more they support diversity, typically the more that different leadership styles are allowed to collaborate and build off each other. And this is a great environment to make an impact as a leader. So the first one to look at is pay equity. Is it a big secret and rather arbitrary? That's not a great situation for leadership. If it's fair and transparent and pay performance levels are clear, you have a clear roadmap of what it is you can do to make an impact as a leader when you know what the rules of the game are. The next one is governance. Is too much governance can be constraining, and too little, you don't really know what the boundaries are of what your role is. And if they just give lip service to governance and they just do the bare minimum, this isn't going to be a great environment for leadership. If they have established and clear diversity governance processes that foster a thriving work environment for everyone, then you can be guaranteed that they're not just paying lip service to diversity, that it is their priority, and that they want to make sure that they're fair to their staff. Professional development. This is another one. If they say it's not in the budget and it's dependent on the managers, then they're not supporting diversity, they're not supporting different ideas, they're not supporting growth. So if it's available to all and encouraged with funding greater than $10,000 per employee per year, which is the norm, that is not high, that's the mid-range. I mean, some companies will spend $20,000 to $30,000, so $10,000. If they're not willing to spend $10,000 per year per employee, then they're not supporting professional development. The next one is promotion opportunities, right? So if it's based on nepotism, favoritism, arbitrary hoops not related to performance, you want to stay away from that type of environment. If there's clear promotion paths based on merit and performance rather than arbitrary constraints, that's going to help you make more of an impact as a leader. And the last one, we call it the open door. Now, the open door is the ease of you getting in the door. All right, some organizations put huge hurdles in place for you to get in the door. Now, I mean, if you really want that, if you really aspire to that environment, it's going to take you a while to move up through the leadership ranks in there. Because typically, if somebody wants and needs you, that door is wide open for you. So the first one is wanted. If your unique skills are not recognized as required, you're not going to do great in that environment. People might say that they want you, but they may have no clue about it. If your unique skills are valued in high demand and on the promotion track to higher leadership roles, and you're going to want to consider that. So that's if you're wanted. If you're needed, if there's few opportunities for someone with your unique skills to make an impact, you're probably not needed. If there's many opportunities for you to leverage the whole range of your talents, you're definitely going to be needed. So you want to be someplace where you're both wanted and needed. So they may want you, but they might not need you, or vice versa. They may need you, but they don't want you. You don't want to be in either one of those situations. You want to be where you're wanted and needed, and they will value your leadership roles. And when you can pay attention to these 5 different dimensions, you're going to make the most impact as a leader. And in the Get Promoted into the Right Promotions Cheetah Fast program, you learn how to assess opportunities across all these 5 dimensions. Now, we went over right there 19 different criteria, which may seem like a lot, but the way we have it organized in the Get Promoted Fast program, which is only 5 hours, you will make this your instinct. You'll be able to quickly assess the cultural fit, assess the innovation capacity of the operation, assess your risk alignment, assess their commitment to supporting diversity, and assessing how open is this door for you. Now, if you're like most really good leaders today, you probably have headhunters coming after you. And so it isn't so much, do they want me? It is, do I want them? Is this a good place for me to make the most impact that I can as a leader? And I want you to keep that in mind. Now, if you want to go further and you want to develop mastery with this, we can take you to the next page here. So we have a class on, it's called WIFM, Get the Right Promotions. That WIFM means what's in it for me. And we like to help people who want to be the type of leader who reflects their aspirations. And so, we have this cute picture of this little baby cheetah with the big cheetah. We're all about helping you have exponential success in your career. So it's only a 5-hour online class. All of our classes use the levels of learning approach. So you start out at a level of awareness, and the awareness here is the first one is what are these 5 dimensions that we need to pay attention to, all the way through to mastery. And mastery means when you have an opportunity that comes up, you can quickly assess it through these 5 different lenses and see, is this going to be a right opportunity for me, so that you don't get into those growth situations that really were just a euphemism for they were really not very good. So use the promotion code PAYRAISE and you can get this class for $49. And I hope to have you as a student in our class.